Hey everybody, Mark Spector Comics, and I'm back. First video for 2026, recording this on January 30th, right at the end of the month. Let's talk about my comic goals, my 2026 comic collecting goals, the goals for the channel, and we're going to recap 2025. So if you're interested in seeing what I've been doing, I got a couple of books to show off this month as well. Stay tuned for that intro. Alright, so welcome back. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so that when I do put out some content, you'll get it in a timely fashion. So like I said, we're going to be doing my 2026 collecting goals. For my collecting goals, my channel's goals, and then we're going to be recapping quickly 2025, just quickly in a nutshell. So what I've been up to so far this month, not much, just pretty much just coasting. If you've been watching my channel whatsoever, you know that I haven't been putting out as much content just because I haven't been buying a lot of stuff. And so if you watched the last year, one of my goals was to try to buy less comic books. And you know, trying to reduce the spending, trying to be like a better collector per se. So I challenged myself in 2025 to do one comic book a month, like, you know, whether it's a small purchase, large purchase, whatever, or not even purchase a book that month and it would just carry over into the following month. So that I wanted to be a pretty disciplined collector for 2025, and let's quickly recap that. So I'm going to tell you, I thought going into the year it was going to be a very difficult challenge because typically I would just go to the store, you know, comic shop, flea market, yard sale, whatever it may be, and if I saw something of interest, I would just, you know, pick it up and not really just like tally, you know, what I've been purchasing, and you can really just get lost in what you've been buying, and then your collection just starts to slowly pile up, and then honestly you just get books that you never end up reading. It just kind of sits there and piles. So if you ever had that feeling, you know, raise your hand. I've had that quite a bit over the years. So part of the reason I wanted to challenge myself in 2025 was to buy less and really just keep a tally of what I've been spending, just to have a better idea what's in the actual collection. So that being said, I'm going to tell you how much I spent on the hobby in 2025. And for anyone who's been watching my channel, subscribe to the channel, I appreciate you. And the one thing I always try to be on top of is transparency. I like to consider myself one of the most transparent comic book YouTubers out there. I don't, you know, I like to bullshit and have some fun, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to like being truthful about stuff, I always tell it how it is, and I put my money where my mouth is. So when I say I was gonna limit myself in 2025, I got the receipts. So I tallied all of my purchases for 2025, comic books, supplies, shipping, all that stuff. And I'm going to tell you how much I spent. So to recap, 2025 for Mark Spector Comics' collecting goals, I spent a total of, get the drum roll, $933 in 2025. So like I said, that's including everything: comic books, shipping supplies, bags and boards, you name it. So that's how much I spent. I had a few what I would consider big purchases throughout the year. And two of those books, so you got, consider it 900 and change, just we'll call it just under 950. Two of my biggest purchases were in the $200 range. I ended up buying a Prize Comics 57. That was my big purchase for December. That was that was $200. And I'm just looking at my chart real quick because I have it all pulled up. And then my biggest purchase of the year was that really cool Alex Schomburg book, Thrilling Comics 58 or 68, that I spent a little over $250 on. So those were my two big purchases of the year. I did get other books, like nice high value books, but I ended up getting those via trade. So it wasn't actually money spent. So there was some cool books I got as well for the collecting for 2025. So that's, I think I succeeded in my collecting goals. So, because if I go back to previous years when I wasn't really tallying, and there were years where, honestly, I was spending thousands on comics. One year, and I believe this was during COVID, when during the COVID crisis. So if you know, during COVID, 2020, 2021 into early 2022, prices just got out of hand. And, during what we call the comic boom. And one year, I believe I spent over $10,000. So I needed to really cut back on the spending. And I think I successfully accomplished that goal. So that being said, I'm going to continue in 2026 in either doing one comic book purchase a month or just a few small purchases, make the hobby fund itself. So yeah, that being said, I did sell books in 2025, and I ended up selling a little over double from what I purchased. So, we always say try to make the hobby fund itself, and I definitely did make the hobby fund itself. And like I said, transparency, it's okay to say you sell comic books as well. You buy and you sell. You help fund the hobby so you can also get some cool books in return. One thing I've gotten from the community, is over the years is just like a lot of great friendship and information about the hobby. And, if I can receive a lot of positive stuff from the hobby, I also like to give back in return. So I did give away several AOKs throughout the 2025 year, and some earlier in the year, and then I gave away, I think three AOKs right at the end of the year too. I'm not going to say who they are, but so that's another thing I want to continue to do in 2026 is just give back more to the community, because I've received a lot from the community. And this year is going to bring up 7 years as being an active comic book YouTuber. So that's another fun tidbit to know for me. Being in the hobby, it comes and goes over the years, and it's even more difficult being active as a comic book YouTuber. So, we've had a lot of great channels come and go since 2019. That's when I started. So this year is coming up on 7 years. There's a lot of good YouTube channels that I personally miss that are no longer on YouTube. So I just wanted to point that out. It's tough. It's tough to bring longevity in this space. Just being an active content creator, and I definitely felt the burnout some of the years. So I'm kind of glad I made less videos in 2025, because I didn't get that pressure, if you know what I mean. Especially if you're a content creator, you know what I'm talking about. That pressure of having to put out content. I still do some lives. I go on friends' channels and do some lives and hangouts. You'll still see me doing that as well, because that's fun. I like the hangouts. But I want to continue to do some more of the content creating, showing some books, pickups, my thoughts on the comic book hobby, and so forth. So definitely expect to continue to see more content from Mark Spector Comics in 2026. So that being said, I'm going to show you what I picked up in January so far and how much I spent. Like I said, transparency is key. You know, I can show you that you can get some really cool books. Doesn't always have to be about money, you know, what the value is. It's just about like storytelling, you know, maybe it's just a cool cover, maybe it's a key, who knows. But I'm going to show you that you don't have to break the bank to have fun in this hobby. And it took me a little bit to make this video. I watched a lot of 2026 goals videos, and before I put this one out. I could have put this one on a couple weeks ago, but I was, you know, I had a lot on my mind before I released this video. And I watched Lunch Money Comics, Mike, good buddy of mine. We don't live too far away from each other. But he made his 2026 goal video, and that kind of like opened my eyes. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, I already experienced this a few years ago, that he was buying too much for him. He felt like he was buying, and this is not an attack on Mike. Me and Mike are good buddies. But this is something I can relate to because this happened to me like a few years ago, that you went to a lot of shows, you went to a lot of comic books, comic shops, a lot of events, and you bought something. You bought it because, you know, you spent time there, you made a recording, you felt the need to purchase something for the channel, you know, to show off. And, you know, he said he felt a little burnt out because he felt he needed to consistently buy something to show it off, to make 2 videos a week, you know, his Monday and Friday shows. And I was like, yeah, I remember those days, you know, a few years ago when I was trying to make daily or weekly content just so I can have my face out there. Because, you know, continuity brings more views, brings more subscribers, and so forth. And, you know, it's nice to have more subscribers, but if those subscribers are not watching the channel, then it's like, what's the point, you know? And I'm not taking that back from anything, you know. I'm always very appreciative of the subscribers, especially the longtime subscribers that watch the channel. You know, I have a little over 1,000 subscribers, and if I can get 50 views, to me, it's, you know, percentage-wise, it's not great. But those are the loyal viewers of the channel, and I appreciate that. So I'm just going off on a tangent. But, you know, that's why I was like, I have a few different ways I could have made this video. And that was kind of the my shtick on that. You know, comic book content creating, you do get burnt out. So just be careful. You know, you don't always have to buy comic books just to make content. Just have fun with the hobby. And that's it. So what did I pick up so far in January? Picked up a few books. One of the books actually is an overlap from the end of December. Right at the end of December, I didn't make a video, but I did pick up a book at a comic shop. That same week when I picked up books that I ended up given as AOKs, I found this book in the back issue bin. It was one of the new stock books that they had. The rest is from January. So I won't count that as a book for January because I did purchase it in December. So I'll show that off first. We're going to start off with Golden Age, of course. So first book, this is GI in Battle, issue number 1. Really cool. This is a Korean War cover. Well, at least it looks like a Korean War cover. I don't know. I don't know if it is. You can't really tell offhand. Not really good with telling about the military outfits, but from what I read, I believe this is from the Korean War. This came out in 1950. want to say 51, 52. I don't know. We're going to open it up and find out. This is by Farrell. Farrell is a known Golden Age publisher, no longer publishes anymore, went away right after the, shortly after the Comic Code. But this came out in August of 1952. Pretty nice copy. Pretty good shape, if I might say myself. I came close to, to A-okaying this book. But I just like, all right, this is a really cool cover. I'm going to hold on to it for at least for now, so I can enjoy it, read it. There's some cool stories in here. But ended up paying 25 bucks for it. Not too bad at all. So this is, what do you call it? A short series. I want to say there's 10 or 11 issues. And I had to go up on my Gerber guide to look up the scarcity index. If you don't have the Gerber guide and you want to find out how scarce your comic books are, especially in the Golden Age, you definitely got to pick up the photojournal guide. This came out as a 5 on the scarcity index, 10 being a ghost, 1 and 2, 3 being quite common for Golden Age. So you're getting towards the fairly scarce. You're in the middle. So not bad. So that was 25 bucks. I'm gonna put that to the side because I've been known to do tape pulls, especially during recordings. So I'm gonna put that aside. What am I drinking? Nice. I got some leftover from Oktoberfest. I got some Woodstock Inn Brewery. Let me know if you want me to bring back some more of the comic and beer videos for 2026. So books that I actually picked up this year. 3 books. First one I picked up, thought this was really cool. This was a pure cover buy. This is Jurassic Park issue number 1. This is from IDW. I want to say this came out in 2013. Nope, 2010. 2010. Don't know what volume this is. But I picked this up basically off the cover, if you can see there. I don't know if it's going to focus that well. But FM, Frank Miller. So this is a Frank Miller cover. And I talked to the comic shop owner. This was a shop I went to in Central Falls, Dark Star Comics. Owner, really nice guy. He knows me pretty well. My son is a huge dinosaur collector, and this was for him. I told him he loves dinosaurs, and he hadn't seen him in a long time since he was very little. And he was like, yeah, if it's for him, no charge. So that was free. Next book. Also digging in the IDW bins, and I found another copy of this. This is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, issue number 1. Troy Little cover, I believe. Yep. This is an adaptation from the novel Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Ended up paying $9. I had issues 1, 2, and 4 in the comic book collection that I bought like 2 years ago now. And I sold it late last year. So I was like, oh wow, I found another one in the bin. So I was like, I had to pick this up. So that was just like a random, spur of the moment. I saw that in the bin. I was like, cool, I just gotta pick this up again. So we're at $9 so far for 2026. Last book. I thought this was super cool, especially since I collect Christmas covers. I know it's kind of my weird, one-off, topic, I guess, subject that I like to collect is Christmas covers. I also like to collect, not just Christmas, shark covers, and also atomic bomb covers, or atomic panels, stuff like that. Like those historical atomic bombing covers. So this is the Heroes World Catalog, issue number 2. This is like one of those like catalog issues. You open it up, you can buy stuff from Marvel, anything from like hats to backpacks to hoodies. It was pretty cool. I've never seen this. I've never heard of this. He threw this in for free as well because it's a catalog. This came out in 1979. And I'll show you. There's even some DC stuff in here, which is hilarious. You know, you got Superman there. You got the Hulk, Spider-Man. Open it up and show you some stuff that you can purchase. You got Lord of the Rings, Star Trek. Let me show you. There you go. Things you can buy in here. You can buy Incredible Energized Hulk. Nothing stands up to the strength of the Hulk. Attach the power hook, throw the energy switch, and crash. $13.99. $13.99. And this is in 1979. Holy crap. So you got a lot of weird stuff in here. And then at the end, there's your order form. And then you mail it out. And then you get your whatever you purchase. I thought that was pretty cool. Just something different. You know, I like collecting weird oddity stuff, you know, outside of, it doesn't have to be a key, you know, just something that's appealing, something just you've never seen before. I was like, you got to get that. If you know what I mean, you know. So that's it so far. Like I said, recording this at the end of January. So far for 2026, we got $9 spent on comic books. That's me being transparent. Hopefully you guys like that. If you do, comment down below. What are your goals for 2026? Are you doing something similar? Are you trying to track how much you spend? Are you trying to limit your spending? You just don't care. You're just gonna buy what you buy and be happy with it. It's gonna keep me a little bit more disciplined so I can try to achieve the books that I want to potentially get. And when I say books, I don't have a set book that I want to get. I have what I consider a pretty good collection for what I'm looking for in the hobby. If I see something random, sporadic, and it's affordable, I'm just gonna pounce and buy it, you know, within reason, as long as it's not something crazy expensive. But I also want to continue to do some more trades, trading, you know, some nice books, odd books, whatever that I have in the collection for something that I want. Because you get bored with some books sometimes. You just want to, because you don't have any sentimental attachment to them, and just move on from them, you know. So that's that for the channel. I'm going to continue to make recordings. That's not going to stop. I'm going to be coming up on 7 years as a comic book content creator in April. So maybe I'll do something fun, you know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And until next time, Mark Spector Comics, out.